Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this episode of the Gentleman's Bureau. Wanted to address a couple things right off the bat. Lane's got some personal stuff he's dealing with right now. We wish him all the best. Hope to see him here next week. But hey, people got busy lives, and this doesn't make any money. So hey, I can't fault the guy for doing what he's got to do. Um, I know it's been a bit of a break in videos, and I want to say that we're sorry about that. I want to say it's our fault, but it's not because it's 100% YouTube's fault. We uploaded a video a couple weeks ago with a guest, and it was up for what, Mark, about 6 hours, you think?
At the max, 6 hours.
Yeah. At the most, it was up for 6 hours before YouTube removed it for disobeying community guidelines concerning medical misinformation. We asked for clarification on that, didn't get it. We asked for an appeal, didn't get approved. I didn't know what was going on because it was the first time it happened to us. So I just tried to re-upload the video thinking that, I could just change the title and maybe that'll be all we need to do. No, apparently not, because it didn't even make it through the checks. Didn't even get uploaded before we had not only a warning for uploading it the first time, but now a strike for trying to upload it a second time, and which resulted in a 1 week suspension for us where we couldn't post any videos. Here's where it's YouTube's fault. I signed in, got the notification that we were on a 7-day suspension, and then I left. I just, was like, okay, can't do anything on YouTube for a week. I put some stuff up on our audio only channels like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. There's a whole list of them here. I'll pull it up later and put it on the screen in post. But yeah, we're on all of these different just podcast platforms, just audio only. Just whole list right here. So I just got us caught up on that, and then I come back 7 days later to upload the second video we recorded that same night we recorded the first video. And this one was on the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, which at the time was still pretty hot news. Now it's really old news, but it's still going to go live. It's probably live right now, and it's been live on audio only for a week and a half. Went to upload that on YouTube 7 days after our strike started, and it said that our strike started then. So we had another 7 days of waiting. I appealed again, did not get any more information, did not get our 7-day suspension lifted for already having been suspended for 7 days. So yeah, 100% YouTube's fault. I take absolutely no responsibility for this at all. It's all YouTube's fault. Anyway, hopefully we don't continue to be censored and told that what we have to say is not appropriate for the masses. I think you're capable of deciding that for yourself. And YouTube should just let all content be free, except, the most heinous things like showing somebody hanging from a tree or something,
Yeah, that I get you.
That
I
video
get what
was
you're
up
trying to
for a
say.
while, by the way. For the while, that video was up for quite a while. A lot
Yep.
longer than 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck, YouTube? We expressed our opinions. That guy showed like a literal dead person. Like, anyway, moving on. Mark,
Crazy.
how have you been?
I've been all right. Unfortunately, we've had this break, so I've been actually just kind of putzing around, doing a little bit of stuff, working on little projects, taking care of my garden. You know.
Good, by the way. For
Thank
those wondering, those that have been watching and listening for a while now, you'll know that me and Mark are pretty serious about his garden, and he has been keeping me updated with pictures on this garden. It's starting to look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I got um, the carrots, potatoes in. and I just put in some onions the other day. It was wonderful. I got beans growing like crazy. Uh, I literally am giving out beans like every other day to everybody because I've had my fill. I've had my fill for a while.
I'm done with these beans.
Yeah. um, Potatoes are like the easiest thing in the world to grow,
Yep.
and this is like only my second time doing them. Um, like Western potato. I was doing some like red island potatoes here, and it took me forever to get rid of those actually because they just grow like a weed. And I mean, I'll have tons of potatoes, and I don't have to actually do literally anything to take care of them. But then I'm also like have to go through the entire garden and with a fine tooth comb and get every little bit of it out. Or
Mm.
I'm every month, like taking out a couple potatoes. Like, where did this come from? Ridiculous, but
Yeah.
it worked out good.
So you kind of just grow year long out there, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, I have my summer vegetables, my winter vegetables, and it's wonderful. I really like it.
You what what is your concept of summer and winter on a
Uh,
subtropical island?
20 degrees, 20
That's winter
degrees
for you?
difference. No, I mean like difference.
Oh,
That's about it.
from 85 to 65, eh?
Yeah, I mean, 65 like at night, I guess. No,
Oh my god.
for the lows.
Yeah, so speaking of that though, we're actually expecting some pretty decent weather here in Illinois. It's supposed to be like 70 degrees on Wednesday, and that'll be December 15th for those
Ooh,
wondering, which is pretty 70 degrees and the Ides of December is pretty warm for this time of year. Usually there's been when I was younger, I almost always had snow by my birthday, which is the 5th, if anybody's wondering. Um yeah, so we used to always have snow by my birthday, and now it's almost always right before Christmas or after Christmas that we get our first snow that stays. We've been
yeah.
having like odd snows in like the middle of October the last couple of years where it'll like snow for like 2 days and
Hmm.
then it'll be back up into the 80s and you're like, wait, what? It's snowing yesterday and now I'm wearing shorts and still sweating. What? But yeah, that's the weather here.
I remember like one of my most disappointing Christmases. I think I was like 15. Like I don't know why it was just like Christmas. It was just a shitty one for some reason. Maybe I was 14. Either way, it was like 65 and everybody was wearing shorts. And I mean, before that it had been like in the 30s and like getting down in like maybe even like the negatives.
Yeah.
But then like Christmas Day for some reason was like 75, no snow on the ground, a muddy mess everywhere. and uh and then like everybody shows up to like Christmas dinner or lunch or whatever. I don't know. We spend like the entire day with each other just eating like fat pigs. So we can call it
Yeah.
like Christmas feast. Let's just call it that.
Also, Mark, I just realized this. Is today your mom's birthday?
It is. It is actually my mom's
Like I
birthday.
don't like it is. It's not for you, but it is for me.
Yeah, I gotta call her. Actually,
You should call her because
I
it's
didn't.
6:38 p.m. and you haven't called her yet. So
Yeah, well, there. I call my mom at certain times, and
um,
and she like expects it. So it's good. It's good.
you guys got a schedule. Okay.
We kind of do. We kind of do. We shoot the shit. I was like, maybe we should just turn this phone call into a podcast, mom, and you could rant because because she'll just tell me about how everybody's doing. Usually, it's an update like that I already heard. I was like, you already told me that. You're running out of stuff to tell me.
Yeah.
and then she's like talking about the news to me. I was like, okay. But yeah, happy birthday, Mom, whenever you hear this again.
Yes. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Mark. Tell her happy birthday for me when you call her later.
Oh, I will.
But yeah, speaking of news, da breaking news. Just last night, while I was at the bar, I was getting texts from my mom that stuff was happening, and I was, not in a place to be worried about it. But anyway, what happened was at least 30 tornadoes were reported across 6 states, namely Arkansas, Illinois, Kentucky, Missouri, Mississippi, and Tennessee. Dozens of people are feared dead following a series of tornadoes that ripped through the Midwest and the southeastern U.S. overnight. And yeah, so one of the buildings that collapsed was an Amazon warehouse in Edwardsville, Illinois. And so far, the death total there is 6, with many more uh, uh, injured. It looks like 45 people made it out of the building, and one of them was airlifted to a regional hospital for treatment. It was a EF3 tornado, and I'm not a meteorologist, so I don't know exactly what EF3 means in tornado language, but 3 is a lot more than 1. So
Yeah,
maybe that's pretty bad.
I think whenever they build sorry, God, I got like stuffed up. I don't know what happened. Whenever they build like structures that need to be hardened, uh, schools, prisons, military compounds, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think they build them to like grade F6 or something like that. Like this couldn't take on a direct hit from an F6 tornado, or like a 5. So, uh, 3 must be outrageous.
Yeah, it's like I hear Cat 5 a lot. Like, this is a Category 5 hurricane. But, like, that's Cat 5. This is EF3. There's just too many codes. I think we need to standardize it so that, like, somebody can just say, this is a level 45 tornado with level 26 debris field in it. Be careful, I'm like, oh, 35, 26. Oh, that's dangerous. Don't want to get near that.
Yeah, I
And
get
then
what
it'd be
you're
like, this
saying.
is a level 6,000 hurricane with 20,000 level 20,000 water capacity and level 20,654 momentum capacity. Um,
That's a lot of
yeah,
damage.
that's a lot of damage. It's over 9,000.
Exactly. Well, and on the scale, whenever it comes to like hurricanes, tornadoes, even uh, earthquakes, right? After they get to a certain amount, it's like, well, 1 is not actually like, okay, so there's 1 and then 2. 2 is not actually like a little bit greater than 1. It's like 100 times more powerful than a 1,
Right, yeah.
and then 3 is like 200 times more powerful than a 2 or something like that. It makes no sense, I think.
Yeah, it's like the distance between the levels gets greater the more you go up.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
They do that with
so
like
yeah, I mean,
a lot of things, like solar flares and all that as well.
yeah, and I think the thing about uh, earthquakes that's a real problem is that there's never really just one, right? Like
Yeah.
if you just have one earthquake, you're like, oh, that was crazy. But usually it's like, because for those of you that don't know, this is welcome to the science show. Um, Earthquakes are caused by shifting in the tectonic plates that make up the Earth. So all of the land masses and even the ocean floor is a giant plate of we'll call it dirt, but it's like, rocks, dirt, minerals, all this kind of stuff. And it's just sitting, it's just kind of floating on an ocean of lava that encompasses like the entire earth except for like one or two spots where the crust actually kind of dips in to the mantle, to the upper mantle or whatever. I don't know, I'm not a geologist. Basically, earthquakes are, you know, when those plates lock up and then break away from each other, it just shakes everything. So that's what causes earthquakes. And from what I understand is if you get one to go a little bit, the odds are that like a couple more of those little bumps will break off too while it has the momentum. So you'll have like, you know, ba 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 instead of just boom. That's
Yeah.
my understanding of earthquakes.
And then there's like tremors afterwards and everything that comes
Yeah,
along with that.
yeah.
Uh, more mountainous regions that you're at, the more likely you're gonna have your earthquakes going on, right? Am I right? Yeah.
I don't know. I
Tectonic
do know
plates,
that I
everything.
do know that there's a tectonic fault that goes along the Mississippi. So hold
No
on to your
mountains
butts.
there. Yeah, and Japan is ridiculous whenever it comes to earthquakes. I mean, they
Oh yeah, man,
have,
you guys are on the ring of fire.
yeah, yeah. Um, Thank God. I mean, we'll still have some earthquakes here in Okinawa, but at least we're not like mainland. They'll have, it'd be nothing to have like 10 earthquakes in one day come across the news. They're mostly going to be small, but shit happens quite a bit.
Yeah,
And then
I hear California is kind of the same way. Like they just almost always having freaking earthquakes, like just all the time.
yeah, and with that, you hear a lot of people that just get freaked out by earthquakes all the time in California.
Hmm.
I mean, celebrities talk about it and they're like, it's the scariest thing to be in an earthquake.
No,
I
it's
think,
not.
yeah, it's.
Go spend some time in
cr-
Afghanistan. You'll change your mind.
Oh Jesus Christ! Well, you turn that up to 1,000. I was gonna say like try being in one of those like hurricanes. That would be terrifying. But
You think that's the scariest thing ever? Go chase a storm.
storm chasers? No,
You
come
think
on
that's the
now.
craziest thing ever? Tell an angry woman to calm down.
Oh, yeah, okay. You have flipped the scale. We've just done the same thing as the geologists here. Now you're increasing everything by 10,000%. Oh Lord.
You think that's bad? Stub your toe and try not to scream.
Oh my God. Did I tell you this literally just happened yesterday? I I have this like area in my house. It's right off camera actually. I stub my toe on this corner like every once a week maybe. And like just running through the house or doing something, not paying attention, usually like early in the morning, like a idiot I am. I stubbed my toe on this fucking corner in this door. Well, the other day I was like paying attention, surprisingly. I didn't stub my toe, but like I moved my foot back and moved my knee forward and just fucking ran my knee into the corner the other day. Like a complete mongoloid. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. And I was on the ground like almost in tears. I was like, Jesus Christ, what have I done? I didn't know it was physically possible for somebody to hurt themselves so badly out of stupidity. It was ridiculous. But that's a little look into my life. I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I haven't been stubbing my toe as much recently, but what I have been doing is catching my knees on stuff, like the corners of tables and the corners of the dog kennel and all this other stuff, and it's just like, ow, ah, you just clip it. It's so quick because like you think you're moving, and then you're moving your leg faster than you're moving your body, because it's got to get in front of your body so you don't fall. By the way, if you don't know, walking is just falling and catching yourself over and over again. That's what it is. You just position your body weight in front of you so that you're trying to fall, and then you catch yourself, and then you do it again. And if you don't believe me, play QWOP. That's KWOP. Not K, Q. It's QWOP. Type that into the search bar. You'll find it. It's one of the most original games ever. We used to play it all the time in school.
Whenever we're supposed to be doing schoolwork.
Yep. They'd be like, let's go to the lab. And I'd be like, all right, well, I'll do what you want me to do for 5 minutes, and then I'll play QWOP the rest of the period. Sounds good to me.
Is that,
But all
okay?
of a
Is that
sudden,
the
you'd look
game?
over your buddy's screen, and he'd just be fucking sprinting.
You're like, how the fuck? Yeah, that's what. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
So for those that don't know, QWOP is basically a game where you are a track runner, like a runner on a track, and you use QW for one leg and OP for the other leg. And what they do is they expand and contract your leg. So you try to run by hitting 4 different buttons. And it's hard.
It's
But it's
not a
also
fun
really funny
game.
because it's funny. It's so much fun, dude. As long as
Yeah.
you don't rage quit.
See, I rage quit a couple times on that game just because making controls hard doesn't make a good game, I think. But for some reason, a lot of people think it does. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe it's because I was like junior high playing this game or high school. I don't really remember. I was like, everybody else can get this. I can't get this. This is stupid. I hate it. It's a stupid game. Everybody's fucking retarded. And I just rage quit.
I thought it was a really cool concept because, I mean, if you think about it, you usually play it with 2 hands, 2 fingers each hand on the keyboard, right? So you're using your fingers to simulate the walking motion of somebody else.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was kind of weird. Like we just walk. We don't think about expanding and contracting our muscles in a certain way so that we can walk. We just we just get up and we walk. But now here we are in front of a computer trying to think about how to walk and how to use our fingers to communicate that to a computer to tell a bunch of ones and zeros on a screen to move in a certain pattern. I don't know. I got really deep about it a couple times, but I think it's a really cool game. Really a testament to how simple games could be and still be entertaining.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's all it
Like
was.
I can
That was
definitely
it. There was no hit. There was no Easter eggs. There's no combat. There's no battle royale. It was just you. It was just
didn't have to
you,
buy a
and you
whole
just
bunch of
tried to
skins.
run. Yeah. The one thing it had was your previous record, not your last run, just your previous record. And if you reloaded the page, that's gone too.
I
No
you
signing
know
up for 1,000 different accounts. It didn't want to know who you were. It just wanted you to play.
that's right. They serve you like I don't know. I've gotten served an ad after you would lose. They would serve you an ad. But if you were doing good, you got really far. You broke a record.
Yeah.
No ad. They said, hey, you keep
Yeah,
going.
it wasn't even. Yeah, it wasn't even like a bad ad either, right? Like it was like a window would pop up and it'd be like, "This is how far you went. This is your best record so far. Also, by the way, check out this ad." And then you just hit start again, which I think you could just hit enter and it would just go ahead and start it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the good old days, man, when gaming was easy. Now you have to have freaking a new console with a lot of computing power and a strong internet connection, pay for a subscription, pay for the $60 game that's not done,
Yeah.
and then sit there the whole time experiencing nothing but game issues while the game developers are only working on providing more purchasable content. It's like, fix your fucking game, man. Why would
That
I
took me a
pay
year.
to look like John Wick in a game that isn't even playable?
Crazy.
Mic drop. I can't. My mic doesn't. I can't drop my mic. It just. I let it go and it just stops. But understand that I'm dropping the mic.
I get you. I get you on that. Like, I I would rather have it like it used to be, where we could go out and get like 40 Nintendo games or whatever, and they they were simpler, they were easier. Okay, I wouldn't say like easier to play or anything like that, but they were a
Yeah.
simpler game. They were made simpler and still provided like endless entertainment, right? So on top of that, like, and every game that they made for that didn't have to be a $1 billion profit game. Like they understood
Hmm.
that. They put out, I wouldn't say they put out a lot of really crap games. Like ET. Go and try to find that in a
Hmm.
landfill. Awful. But at
But
the same time, they put out like a lot of okay games that you could spend tons of time on. And you know what? And that
yeah,
was kind of like the good thing. Like you would go out and buy some games. You'd be like, okay, maybe one of these will be a golden gem, and but I
right.
got like 5 games, and I'm gonna figure it out, and it's gonna be really fun to do. Just take the time to do it. You would also find games that you really liked that nobody else did, but they were like that golden ticket for you. That was really fun too.
You know what my favorite part was, Mark?
Well, what?
These games were released complete.
Yes, yes,
You would just take this cartridge, or even the early, PS1, Xbox games. You take a disc or a cartridge, and you would just, or even you'd get a a gamepad that just had that game, you know, and you just take this whatever it was, and you'd plug it into whatever you're playing it on, and it would just work. That's it.
yeah,
Boom, works. Clean the
yeah,
disc, works. Blow the cartridge, works. You didn't have to plug it in and be like 300 gigabyte download. What?
yeah.
But
You
the
you could be
reason, and
hooked up to
this is what I figured out.
you'd be hooked up at your grandma's place, playing on her ancient
Right.
TV, and you
Yep.
didn't have to worry about
Seconds.
internet. Yeah, you're great. You
Yeah.
down in the basement at your
Yeah.
grandma's gig, you know, she's watching CNN upstairs, wondering about stock prices, and you're just sitting there like, hey, I'm gonna be playing this game in the basement. Nobody's gonna bother me. Oh yeah, grandma, you don't have internet? That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be slaying it
Yeah.
on Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Testament to this, by the way, when I moved out of the fraternity house that I was living in my last couple of years of college, got my own apartment. I had a smart TV, no internet, couldn't really watch anything, just my movies and shit. I bought an Xbox One Gears of War edition off Facebook Marketplace for 175, and then I went to the Walmart and I bought Assassin's Creed Origins, where they're in like Egypt and shit, because I thought, oh, it's Assassin's Creed. I'll just get on and play Assassin's Creed. No big deal.
Yeah.
Could not, could not play Assassin's Creed because I needed internet in order to update the game. Now, I found out, I did some digging, researched it, looked into it a little bit, found out the secrets. The reason we're experiencing this shit, right, is because before they had to finish the game because then you're going to buy the game.
Yeah.
You're not going to take the game back to get version, 2.0. All
Hmm.
right, you bought the game, you have the game's done. You might be able to get some DLC for it and download some extra stuff, but you had the game. But now they can be like, does this game sound interesting? And you'll be like, yeah, buy it. Be like, all right, we'll work on it because they can push updates and they can push updates and they can push updates. They can fix it as they have people playing it. They don't even need beta testers anymore. Beta
Yeah.
testers are going to be phased out because you don't need them. You just make the game, send it out to the public, hear their comments, fix their stuff, and boom, you're done. Minecraft has been doing it for 12 years,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
it's still one of the best games on the market. And I'll tell you why, Mark. Because even though the game's not done, the game isn't done. It was done when they released it, but they keep making it better, adding more stuff to it. But here's the thing, Mark. It was $20 then. Now it's like 25, maybe 35. I don't know. Haven't bought Minecraft in a long time because I haven't needed to buy Minecraft in a long time. I paid $20 for actually I paid $14 for a game in like 2012. I am still playing that game, and it is so very different from when it was back then. And that, Mark, is a good game. Okay, you know what they
Yeah.
haven't done? They haven't shoved purchases down my throat. They're available. I know they are. You could buy some skin packs on Bedrock Edition. You could buy some uh, curated texture packs on Bedrock Edition. But you know what isn't happening? Pop-up ads saying, "Hey, do you want to buy some stuff? Hey, do you want to buy some stuff? Hey, have you tried YouTube Premium? Hey, I know we've asked you this a million fucking times, but would you like to try YouTube Premium?" No, I want to watch my video. Just let. I just started it. It's been half a second since I clicked on this video, and you're already asking me if I want to try YouTube. No, I don't.
Now this
There
goes
needs
on
to be a
YouTube.
setting
it's
to
going to be
turn that off.
flagged just because of that.
I don't care.
No other
Give
reason.
me another strike, YouTube. I fucking dare you. I'll sue them for
Poke the bear.
defamation.
Hey, you know what? We're on all these other platforms, you know. The only reason we
Yeah,
started with YouTube is because they're for better or worse, they're the biggest way to get ourselves out to the people. So if we're off of here someday, Spotify really blowing up. So
mhm.
I like that.
I
Rogan did
watched
a
a
lot of that.
video a long time ago about what problem was with YouTube and like why it didn't make any sense. So basically, what they kind of broke it down to was is there's like we'll say a publisher and an editor, and I'm not those aren't the right words that the guy used, but think of a publisher as somebody who just allows you to post whatever. You make your channel. It's like MySpace back in the day. You made your
Oh
channel.
yeah.
You do whatever you want with it. Post whatever you want. Nobody cares. Maybe they do, but they're not going to tell you about it, right? And then there's editors, which is like a newspaper where they have people that write their stories and they publish, along a certain number of lines, right? And apparently the problem stems from YouTube being a publisher, but trying to retain the powers of an editor, which
Um,
is they say you can make your account and post whatever you want, but not what they don't want you to, which is technically it's technically legal because it's still their website. Okay, um, it's still their website, so technically they can do that with the community guidelines. But the
yeah.
extent that we're seeing it now, I mean, they straight up delete channels for having guns in them sometimes.
Yep.
Okay, they'll and they're like what like they did to us. They just totally nuked a video. By the way, this video we were super excited about. This was a guest that people knew about. Okay, this was a guest that had a following. We were so excited about this, and then 6 hours in, poof. By the way, in those 6 hours, it had already reached a decent view count for one of our videos. So I'm
Yeah.
sure after 24, 48 hours, it would have been our best video ever, maybe, because that one did really well. But anyway,
Yeah.
don't worry about it, guys, because it's still alive. It's still a thing. You can't watch it, but you can listen to it on these 7 audio only channels
And we're gonna have a
right
list of
here.
those right here. Wait.
Right here.
Ta-da!
It's right here.
Somewhere.
No, Mark, now I got to put 2 of them in, one on your hands and one on my hands.
That's okay.
It's everywhere. These 7, these 7, that 7. Anyway,
Yeah.
what's cool is we actually have ads on those too. So hey, please go listen to audio only stuff on these 7 channels. Um, Mark, you got anything else, man?
uh, well, I feel like we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about what's going
What do we got to
on.
talk about?
It's a little scary. Is everybody ready for this roller coaster of a ride?
No, hold on. I can't do it. Hold on. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Well, Jed, we may have to rip the Band-Aid off. So, over in
I'm not
Eastern Europe,
ready.
over in Eastern Europe,
Oh,
we're just having a lot of trouble. Everybody, if you don't know, if you've been living
yes.
under a rock, Vladimir Putin, the I gotta say, so Vladimir Putin is kind of a he makes power moves. He's a power move guy, and whether it's putting 100,000 troops on the border of a country, next to him,
175,000 troops.
175,000 troops on a border right next to him. I mean, there's that, or it's you know, he's gonna go and he's gonna meet with Angela Merkel, who just retired. Big ups, retirement, not staying in politics till you die. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna say that.
Respect. Get out while the getting's good.
Yep. Well, what might be coming on now is like for the best. Get out of here before my name's ruined. Uh, so Angela Merkel was literally quoted as the only friend Russia had in Europe, right? Angela Merkel is terrified of dogs, has a huge phobia of dogs. Vladimir Putin would go to meetings with her constantly and bring big, scary, well, to her, any dog would be scary, but these big, big, massive dogs with him, sometimes two of them, just power move guy. Just like
Yeah.
he intimidated Angela Merkel with big dogs. He is intimidating Ukraine with big amounts of troops and artillery and tanks at the border and all these things.
Yep.
It's less than 80 miles. They like to say 200 and something kilometers, but no, it's like 80 miles away from the border. They've already taken Crimea back in 2014. That was literally Ukraine's land. They sovereign country, they swooped in and said that's ours now. They held an election. I don't know how valid that would be. Russian elections where 125% of the people vote. So think about that. Uh, and
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I'm actually going to look up what happened with Crimea because I remember hearing that Russia just took Crimea, but like I assumed somebody was going to be like, come on, Russia, give Crimea back."
well,
So I'm gonna look
at
this
the
up while you
time,
keep talking, buddy.
yeah, you Google away. Yeah, at the time, Ukraine was a much weaker military force, very loosely constructed. I mean, they're a fairly newer country. We got to remember that. On the grand scale of things, I mean, even America is a very newer country in the world, but even more so is Ukraine after the fall of the Soviet Union and everything. So, whenever it comes to Crimea and a couple other regions in eastern Ukraine, there's separatists that are backed by the Russians, supposedly. I mean, I don't think you can actually say in stone that they're backed. So we'll say that they're backed by the Russians in Minecraft. Um, yeah.
Wait a minute, how did we get to Minecraft?
You listen back. Yeah. Everything comes back to that badass game of Minecraft.
It's actually
So,
a Swedish game, by the way.
ooh, them Swedes know what they're doing.
Not a lot of games come out of Sweden. The ones that do, pretty all right.
Pretty all right.
At least Minecraft was. I don't know about the rest of them. I did look it up. So Crimea, there was apparently like a revolution actually in 2014, and there was people in Crimea that wanted to be back in Russian hands, and Putin like rescued the deposed Ukrainian president, and then he sent like unmarked troops, which sounds weird. unmarked. They like unmarked troops to Crimea and like kind of took it over, and then yeah, now it's two federally controlled Russian states or something like that. It's
Yep.
mired in legal mumbo gumbo, but yeah, I don't care personally. Russia having Crimea within their borders doesn't affect me in my personal life. I haven't been hearing half the stuff I'm hearing from China out of Crimea, so they must not be doing too terribly as a ruler there. So
Yeah. I mean,
and
I feel like if you're going in to Russia, you're going to lose some privileges. It's going to be a little bit harder economically because of all the sanctions that are on Russia, and like that trickles down to the people, obviously.
yeah, yeah,
And you're also going to lose a couple things, like whenever it comes to freedom of speech. So there's that.
hmm
I don't know how good Ukraine is at the same thing, you know? Like I don't know if their freedom of speech is on the same par as us, but from what I've seen, they do have their own freedoms. They have their own culture. They're their own people as well. Like
hmm
there's just happens to be a lot of ethnically Russian people in eastern Ukraine. And Russia wants to
yeah,
say because of that, they deserve eastern Ukraine. At least eastern Ukraine, I think, is what they're thinking. Now, I think there's more to that because if that's the case, there's a lot of Russians all over the place. And if we're gonna start playing that game, there's like what is it, like little babushka fucking town over in the East Coast. Russia's gonna come in and claim that too. That's ridiculous, right? No, we don't play that game.
yeah.
Ukraine's a sovereign country, and I just hope that you know if if the I don't want to see war at all, and that's what it's looking like, and it'd be
We're gonna
really
see war,
really
Mark.
bad. I don't think.
Mark, I hate to break it to you, but soon there will be very large scale war, and you are not going to be in a good place for that.
I
Secondly, before we
I
get off the topic of free speech, just because we mentioned it earlier in this podcast with the whole YouTube, you know, taking down our video because of what we said, um, it's not going to be that the government is going to come in and say, "We heard what you said. You can't say that." No, what we're going to see is when our freedom of speech, and it already is when our freedom of speech starts to go away, we're just going to see it in our news and our media outlets and social media and stuff where you just stop seeing anybody's opinion that doesn't match the narrative that they're trying to shape the country into. That's how our freedom of speech is going to actually disappear here. And like I said, it already is. There's already stuff that like I said, anything you talk about um, the virus, anytime you talk about the virus, it's being looked at with a fine tooth comb now. I mean,
hmm
like I just said, the virus. I don't even want to say the name anymore because I know it's going to get flagged and they're going to look at the video just
well,
because
just
I've
saying
said
the
that name.
virus, they're gonna probably put some
It's
sort of
probably going to get flagged
CDC
just for that
thing.
too. Honestly,
They're gonna put some sort of
yeah,
CDC, notice on the bottom of our video for that.
yeah.
Most likely.
hmm
Um, you know, and freedoms they don't go away all at once. They slowly erode away. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see.
I think too many people in the world, but like also like just in America, they think that it's just gonna happen one day. Like there's gonna be a loud crash and a cacophony of trumpets, and all of a sudden the government's gonna say we don't have our freedoms anymore. But that's not what's gonna happen. There will never be the government will never admit that we don't have our freedoms anymore. And if the government ever does, that's the sign of good hope or
Mm,
devastation. Because
yeah.
that's the only thing that's gonna happen is when the government admits that we have lost our freedoms, it's because they're going to give them back because we're taking them back, which is the only way they're going to give them back is if we take them back, or because they know we can't do anything about it anymore because they've already de-armed us, demoralized us, split us apart into factions warring with each other for no good fucking reason.
Hmm.
That's when they'll say, by the way, you have no more freedoms anymore. You
I
gave them
mean,
up.
this is very recent, and this is very scary. As far as freedoms go, in New Zealand, they have decided that if you are of the younger generation, uh, I think it's anybody that's under 18 right now, or maybe even 20, you will no longer be allowed to smoke cigarettes. They have taken that away from you. They are taking away the freedom of choice for you to put whatever you want in your body. Obviously, they've done that with other things like medicines, so like heroin, fucking crack, things like that. I understand.
All right.
They've. I don't agree with those things either, though. Like, I think if we legalized all drugs, we'd see a lot of drug use go down. Maybe we'd see a spike right away, and then we'd see it like mellow out, even out, and we'd get actually people like get real help for their issues. But at the same time, tobacco, really, you're taking away tobacco from the younger generation. Come on, my body,
Mm,
my choice. Like, this is ridiculous.
yeah. So I pulled it up, and basically the plan is to set an age of 15.
Okay.
So like if you're like under the age of 15, you can't buy cigarettes. And then next year, when you turn 16, it's going to go up to 16. So the idea is that the legal smoking age will continually increase so that eventually nobody can buy cigarettes.
Yep.
The idea is that people who are already smoking can continue to smoke, but as time goes on, no one will be allowed to smoke. And honestly, I understand what you're saying about this, like my body, my choice, and like I literally just had a cigarette myself, and that's I didn't like that. I mean, obviously, I smoked it, so yeah, but I smoked because my body told me that I needed nicotine. My body told me that I needed nicotine because I smoked in college when I was at parties, and now my body is used to having nicotine. And when I don't have nicotine, my body's like, something's wrong, something's missing. So at the same time that like I'm all for, people controlling their bodies however they want to, at the same time, I can't be mad about effort to reduce tobacco use because out of all the drugs we have in the world,
Yeah.
it's like one of the ones, it's like it has so many studies done, so much data, so much information saying how bad it is, and it's still legal. And not only legal, it's pushed.
Yeah. I can
And I
agree
mean,
with that. Like, not
I
saying it's a
remember when
good thing
states first
for you.
started legalizing. Yeah, yeah. And I remember when they first started legalizing cannabis here in the states, that was one of the things people mentioned all the time was like, we have all these studies and like hard data and evidence that says how bad tobacco is for you. We don't have those for cannabis. There are
Yeah.
no there's no hard data saying that cannabis is bad for you. There's hard data saying that inhaling smoke is bad for you.
Hmm.
But whether that's tobacco smoke or cannabis smoke, we don't have any that says cannabis smoke is anywhere near as severe as tobacco smoke.
Hmm. I
Yeah,
I wonder
but
what the
anyway,
data is for
anyway.
us inhaling, just straight up tar smoke. Oh, I guess I'd come back to
Oh yeah,
tobacco
I'm sure
too,
they
but
have it somewhere.
yeah,
I
like
mean, I'm
I
sure.
mean,
Yeah,
somebody wants to go around smoking tar, like that's not the smartest thing in the world, and I'm not going to
I mean,
stop them.
people.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah,
And I
people
don't think
huff paint.
exactly.
I don't care. At some point, it becomes the topic of a discussion of like Darwinism. You know,
Ah, yes.
at some point, it becomes Darwinism of like, let's just take all the warning labels off of everything and let people figure it out. I think New Zealand might be going too far here
A little bit.
because, yeah, I think it'd be better if they kind of did like the Australia route and just
Hmm.
started making it like super expensive to smoke.
That would be way
Because I
better.
mean, and think about it too, like that's double-edged sword. That's something I've seen here growing up. Is like being beholden to always having cigarettes, like especially like that's like $10 here now, like $8 if you're lucky. You
Yep.
know, $8, and most people smoke about a pack a day. That's $8 a day. Okay, what's that? $56 a week, $200 a month out of your income. That's just gone to tobacco, which is
We
going to
should
cause
do we
health
should do
problems.
a
Which is
we should
yeah,
do a little bit of a, maybe not this episode, but we should actually talk about like smoking and what it is like around the world for a bit sometime. I could, because it's very different almost everywhere, and I think there's a lot of things that factor into like why people smoke, why they don't, and everything. But I get what you're saying,
mm,
and I understand what the path you're going down. But we have been at it for a little bit of a time, and I wanted to honestly just talk a little bit about the Eastern Europe before we wrap this up.
yeah,
Can we do that?
yeah, yeah.
All right. So have you been paying attention to the news on this at all though? Like I I'm getting a little fucking worried, man. And
Yeah.
it's because I see the Ukrainians as a young country, and I see how they've already lost land, right? They've already lost an area, and all these patterns are adding up, and it's going to happen again. It looks like it's going to happen again, I should say. Vladimir Putin, it took them time, but he actually went out and sat down, had a like what we're doing here, like a Skype interview type thing um, with the president of the United States, Joe Biden. Uh, they're not releasing a lot of information about that meeting, which puts a red flag on what I think, because the government broadcasts their victories immensely, and they never talk about their defeats. They don't talk about things that could worry the populace, I think. Every news outlet out there has come out with the fact that the White House said that they need to paint the president in a better light. I think that would mean like, oh, we might be going to war, we might have conflict. We need to look like a very strong and dependable, reliable regime, or sorry, government at the time. If that happens, also, um, you know, there's never been like a hard line where like, oh, we're definitely not going to war over Ukraine. We're just going to let them take it, because after, after that meeting, he's like, oh, we're going to sanction them. Well, Russia's been sanctioned out the wazoo already, and it never stopped them. It never stopped them. And they work with China closely, and China and Russia do not care about sanctions. North Korea doesn't care about the sanctions. We've sanctioned all those places ridiculously. So who cares? Like, we're just going, they're going to work amongst themselves. Like, you know what I mean? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Ukraine leaders have contacted, people. They have lawyers and their families. They have the local butcher and his family, you know, husbands, wives, their 16, 15-year-old children, armed to the teeth with their personal weapons and camouflage, training to protect their local areas in their country. We're not talking about like actually trained soldiers. We're talking about civilians arming themselves because the government tells them to protect their local areas. This is ridiculous. Like, that points to war immensely for me. Also, the fact that Joe Biden, he also called the Ukrainian president. Not a lot of information is being put out about that either. And basically, what the response was about troops on the ground was, we will not unilaterally put troops on the ground. So if if the rest of NATO wants to go in there, or even a couple countries from NATO want to go in there, America will follow. That's what I see with that.
Yeah.
This also paints a perfect opportunity. if America's distracted because it's said that we cannot fight a multi-front war anymore, that China would move in on Taiwan because they hate them for being a democracy, a separate country, an independent country, calling them a rogue state,
Yeah.
they'd move in on Taiwan and then we'd
Isn't it
have,
strange?
we'd have to decide
Yeah.
whether we're going to, give up Taiwan or not. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think
What's that?
it's really strange. I just think it's really strange that the People's Democratic Republic of China would have a problem with another democratic country.
Oh, yes.
You know. Also, I saw it was, by the way, you mentioned, I don't know if I'm following the news on this. I don't follow news, Mark. My news comes from the meme community. Okay.
Nice.
That's how I find stuff out. That and my mom. Either
More
my mom
reliable
tells me
most of
about
the
it, or I honestly, yeah, or I just find out about it on memes. So
time.
one thing that I found on a meme that was pretty interesting to me was the scientists, the scientific community in charge of the virus decided to skip Greek letter Z, G, like XI,
Oh, yes. Yes,
out
I've
of
seen that.
out of not wanting to cause problems. And it's like, wait a minute, that's the next letter
Yep.
in the Greek in a Greek alphabet.
N-
What does that have to do with the democratically elected president of China?
Yep.
Why,
Well, they
what?
cited that there's a
That,
lot of people with that last name, that family name, G, but there's not. There's not. But they left in Mu, which is a more common family name in China. So your
also,
whole argument blew up
kind of
right there.
strange,
Yeah.
right?
Go
Yeah,
do
kind of strange that there's so many Chinese last names that are Greek letters.
it. Ridiculous.
Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and like Fo's one,
Oh,
or
well,
Phi. No, it's Phi. I was thinking of Phi, not Fo. Anyway, but yeah,
I bet
dude,
you
it's
could
just like,
find somebody with the name Phi, though.
oh yeah, 100%, 100%. But like, it's so fucking whack, Like, you want to say that this wasn't, this didn't come out of a Chinese lab, that this just emerged from nature, but then you go and do shit like that, and it's like, wait, wait a minute, hold on a second,
Yep.
something doesn't add up here. Actually, no, something does add up here. 2 plus 2, it does equal 4.
Exactly.
Uh,
Oh
I'm
my
also
god.
seeing stuff about conspiracy theories. Not necessarily like what conspiracy, like this conspiracy theory or that conspiracy theory, but more about how like when conspiracy theories come true, people just say, "Oh yeah, it's always been like that. Everybody knew that." Meanwhile, the conspiracy theorist is sitting there like, "You, what do you mean it was always like that? I told you this was going to happen years ago, and you guys called me crazy. Now all of a sudden, when it's happening, you're trying to gaslight me. I was ahead of you on this." And I'm
Yep.
like, "Yeah, that's true, man. Because as soon as it comes true, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, we all knew that was going to happen." And it's like, "Wait, no, you didn't. You called me crazy for it." Dude, it's wild, man. We're seeing a strange time, dude. My dad, I came home from Christmas a couple of years ago. I can't remember how long ago it was now. And I got my dad saying something about how the next 5 years, man, the next 5 years are going to be some kind of wow. And I
Oh.
want to see it. My dad said that, and I was like, yeah, man, the next 5 years are going to be some kind of wow. Because at the time, I was still working on a satellite project for Carthage. I was still, I was still in college. Tesla was still doing a bunch of crazy stuff. There was a bunch of stuff going on with SpaceX.
Yeah.
And I was excited about it, man. I was like, heck yeah, the next 5 years are going to be some kind of wow. Didn't realize next 5 years is going to be some kind of,
Whoa.
but it's a bad kind of wow, dude. That's a lot of bodies kind of wow, It's like, That's like a draft letter kind of wow, you know. I'm not sure I'm ready for that kind of wow, Mark.
I
I don't.
I know, I know.
I want to come. I want to come visit you, but I don't want to do it in military uniform. Okay, that's what I'm saying, Mark.
I get you. I know. I understand. And you know what is insane is that it's very very possible. I mean, even our our Department of Defense. Shit, I can't. I always get them confused. Like I'm not sure which department it is. They were talking about that America is most likely like 90%, 99.9%, blah blah blah, right? Likely to get into a shooting conflict before 2025. Either 2025 or beforehand. More likely 2025, but very possible even before, right?
Yeah, I mean, I believe it, dude.
Biggest
Honestly,
adversary,
if it
China.
happened, if it happened before 2022, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, as
And
soon as
that's
the
in three
ground
weeks.
freezes. Oh, oh, you know it too. Yeah. So the big reason why Russia is not moving in on Ukraine is not because of the sanctions, because they're really historically do not show that they're afraid of any sanctions. Vladimir Putin will let his people
No,
starve before he really gives a shit, I think.
yeah, yeah. It's a
Because
Russian ruler kind of thing.
yep. Uh, but the ground, if you don't know, a big reason why you can never take Russia in the winter, as you know, that's what they say. Well, that whole area in Europe has a mud season. The ground is so muddy it'll swallow cars, it'll swallow, you know, horses and
Tanks.
supplies and tanks. Yes, it'll swallow all that, and that is why they're waiting for the ground to freeze before they invade. I think that's my personal opinion. Some other people agree with that. A lot of stuff points to that.
Yeah.
They're talking about the end of
I heard something
January.
too.
The ground could be frozen
Yeah.
by, the new year. Easy.
Yeah. I heard something too, again in a meme, about how like for the first time in so many hundred years or something, there was like no snow in Moscow for a certain time of year or something
Oh yeah.
like this. This was like weeks ago. And they're like, and it was just like Germany, Ukraine, Poland, all just like, wait, what? I think Napoleon was there. It's like, wait, Russia's thawed? We can invade Russia?
Oh my God, that's what
But
Russians
yeah,
see it
no,
as well.
wouldn't advise it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't advise invading Russia. They'll throw themselves at you. Okay.
they'll throw other
For those that
other
don't know,
Russians at you.
yeah, we got to start closing up. But I got a couple more things. I got a question for Mark. Real quick history lesson. If you didn't know, during World War II, or was it one? I don't know. During one of the world wars, Russia sent out troops either with guns or ammo, not both.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? You either got a gun or you got ammo. You did not get both, and they won that engagement.
Because you were gonna find it by walking
Yeah,
towards the
that
front.
too. And when you just throw 100,000 people at a lesser number of people with people behind them with guns and ammo, telling them do not turn around, attack, or we'll shoot you, they get it done.
Something will happen. And
Something's gonna get done. But anyway, I was gonna.
that
Yeah,
probably
go ahead.
takes us to the point of China, right? With their population,
Hmm.
and India with their
Hmm.
massive population. So who knows?
Hmm.
Thank God we have India. We're allies for now.
So yeah, Mark, I was gonna ask too, right before we leave here, can you still be drafted?
I think the draft age cuts off at 26. But during
Fair
World War
enough.
II, the draft went all the way up to 54. I want to say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have my paperwork. I mean, I really hope not. I really, really hope I can't be drafted. There is a office here on the island for I think every branch of the military. They have a recruiting office, so who knows? I hope not.
Well,
I'll do my part. That's it's
yeah, yeah,
historically people I don't know, my family, and I think it's the right thing to do. If you are drafted, if you have to stand up to protect freedom, I think it's a
yeah.
lot. I mean, history shows it's a lot kinder on those people as well. To not run away, not burn your draft card, not go to Canada. You know, do
Yeah.
do what's required of you or what's asked of you as a man is more
As
respectful.
no, not even as a man, as a citizen of your country. Because the draft
Yeah,
goes both ways now.
it does it.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Amazing.
It's still mostly male, but there have been some female draft cards issued.
Hmm. Well,
Still a
if
bit
they
of a
wanna do it,
discrepancy there, but yeah.
hey, equal rights. I'm all about equality. Let's do it.
Hey, I'm all about equality too. It doesn't mean you get all the good stuff and none of the bad. It means you get all of it.
Oh, I'm going
But
in
no,
the mixed gender uh UFC. So I'm gonna be a fucking champion for a couple months.
right. Yeah, maybe. But but yeah, no, dude, definitely. If you get drafted, unless you're like morally against the conflict, which I could definitely understand.
Amish.
In this case, not so much. Amish, yeah, or religious, then you have a right to get out of it. If it's against, what you hold sacred, sure. But if the only thing stopping you from accepting the draft is you don't want to, fuck up.
Yeah. Buck up. I
I
get
don't
you.
I don't want to have a Red Dawn situation going on in my backyard either. But if it happened, I wouldn't just tweet about it.
Yeah. I
I'd
mean,
go
think about this.
Jedediah in Red Dawn on it.
Put a picture up too. Elvis Presley. He went. He was drafted. He went. He did his time that the government asked
Yep.
him to do.
Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash,
Yep.
tons of people out there served. Um, yeah, I mean, it's one of the most noble things you can do is putting your life on the line for not necessarily your country, but what you care about in the country,
Yep. Whenever you're
your
asked
family,
to,
friends.
step up. I
Yeah.
understand. All right.
I mean, hey, Mark, one small piece of solitude I can give you about the draft is if we are drafted, we'll go in as officers.
Oh, because we have some education behind us.
Yep.
I don't know
Yep.
if that's
I
any
told
better
Harold
though.
I told Harold that, and he was
Either
like,
way.
"Fuck you," because
Yeah.
Harold did his 4 years and got out, and I was like, "Dude, if we get drafted with this whole China shit, I'm gonna be an officer." He's like, "Fuck you."
He's
I'm
like,
like,
I
"You
won't
could have
be
used your
drafted.
GI Bill to go to college." He won't be drafted. No, he'll just be re-enlisted. They'll
Oh,
just
he'll do
voluntold re-enlist him. I mean, yeah, he wouldn't mind stepping up. The only reason he got out was because he was tired of sitting around doing nothing. If he actually got a chance to go into real shit, he'd be right on fucking board, 100% of the way. I
Yeah.
think. I don't
Well,
know. Probably though.
yeah. Oh, I think I won't speak for Lane, entirely. He might go through and, you know, uh shag as many ladies as he can before he gets, into the shit, but he'd most likely go to, I think. He wouldn't be required to, but I think he would if they'd take him with
Yeah.
his
I think.
shoulder.
Yeah. I mean, Harold's got a totally fucked back too. That's just part of being in the in the military these days is
You're gonna take some
pain,
injuries.
lasting body damage, even if you don't see combat.
Yeah, sadly. It takes its toll mentally,
Yeah.
physically,
Emotionally,
emotionally. Something like that.
financially.
Well, financially it's not.
Well, I mean, they could do more to keep grunts from blowing all their freaking money. Okay, that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah, they could provide some sort of financial education, but how many
Right,
people actually
45
listen to
minutes a
that?
week just to sit down with an old timer that knows how to put money away. Okay, 45 minutes a week. That's all you need. Right on payday. As soon as they wake up, before they can spend any money, it's like, all right, now, youngsters, we're going to talk about saving money and investing in the future.
That's right.
And then they go to the strip club.
And then they're like, I'll save this $20 for everything I'm gonna need next week. $20 in the bank for my future, and $150,000 at the strip club. I
Got to
have
get the
no idea
buffet,
how
man.
much they spent.
Got to get the buffet.
I played
It
in
gets
some of
up
those
there, dude.
numbers. I
Yeah.
can tell.
Anyway,
Oh,
anyway, thank you all for joining us. I'll let Mark do the outro because I know it's been a while since he's done it.
oh yes. Yeah, it's been a time. We went quite long today, but I think we needed to catch everybody up on everything that was going on in the world with us. I know you've missed us quite a bit, unless you're on Spotify and the other ones. I only remember Spotify, but I know there's Apple in there. There's
Do you want the list? I can give you the list. I'll read them out real quick. I'll
read
just
them
read them
out.
out for you real quick.
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Ooh,
Overcast, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Stitcher.
nice.
And that's all thanks to our one and only channel sponsor, Anchor by Spotify. And they just allow us to upload our audio files to their website, and then they automatically distribute them to those 7 platforms I just mentioned. I'll put another picture on the screen here for you of all those things, and I'll put some links down in the description. First of all, to that episode with Dr. Pamela Popper, please give that one a listen. It really means a lot to us, and also just those other
That'd be good for you,
channels
too.
that we have set up.
Yeah. All right, everybody. You know what? It's been a great time. I hope you're doing good. I hope if a lot of people listen to us in the car. They're driving. Hope you had a good time. Watch out. Don't hit the bank. Come on now. Stay on the road. I know you're swerving. Stop drinking and
Oh, there's
driving.
a deer. There's a deer.
Yeah, okay. Well, we got you safe. Now you get home, Buckaroo. And everybody, you know what? You stay happy, you stay classy, you stay positive in a world that's maybe not so right now. But here's a little advice and a little bit of facts. So during World War II, everybody had freedom gardens. Think about that for your future. That may help you out. Also, zebras. They are black with white stripes.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're white with black stripes.
No, they're black with white stripes. Their
No, Mark, I'm
default
sorry
color.
to correct you on this, man. Is white.
Okay, zebra's skin, black. Zebra's hair color,
All right.
pigment, black. They have to turn off their pigment in order to have white. Zebras are black with white stripes.
Are you sure? Okay, Mark. Let me come at this a different direction then, because you seem obstinate. Have you ever seen an all-black zebra?
I have not. Touche.
Have you ever seen an all-white zebra? Because I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Look up
pretty cool.
albino zebra.
Oh, god damn it. That almost. That shouldn't count. That shouldn't count.
I'm just saying. Just saying. If you could have an all-white zebra, but not an all-black zebra, then zebras must be all white with black stripes.
All right.
Anyway, without further ado, like, comment, subscribe. I'm so serious. Subscribe. We need
Share
it.
this with your moms
And
and your grandmas and have a good time.
your granddad,
Great. Yep. Pop
your
Pop's gonna
uncle,
love it.
your cousins,
Yeah.
your baby mamas, baby daddies.
Yes.
Not your babies though. They're too young for this.
Happy
These videos
holidays,
are not
everybody.
approved for children. Happy
I
holidays. Stay
think
safe.
Christmas is around the corner. I think Hanukkah's over with recently. Yeah. Shalom.
No, I think Hanukkah's got a couple days left.
Nah,
I
I
don't
thought
know.
it was over. I
Not
don't know.
Jewish. I don't know. But anyway, real quick, just want to give you guys one last word. Check your oil pressure. Check your oil level. Make sure you got enough oil in your car. Rotate your tires so you get the best front on your drive tires. Get the good windshield washer fluid that's not going to freeze until it's like -40. Change your wiper blades. Change your socks. Change your underwear.
Check your air pressure in your tires. Actually, with the
Check your
changing of the
tire
weather.
pressure in your air. That's important. With it getting colder, the tire pressure is going to get lower. It's going to drop. So make sure you're taking care of that. Making sure you're keeping up on your maintenance for your car, your home. Most importantly, for your body. Okay, your
Yeah.
health is what's important to us. So stay healthy. Take care of yourself. Eat good food. Also eat some tasty food because you deserve it. But sneak some broccoli in there when you can.
All right, everybody. Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye.